Mingalaba and welcome to Myanmar Today. I am Henry Zin with the latest news and reports from around Myanmar. Arkajo brings us the first report on Ministry's advice for construction projects. Thoras Wizin's coverage on philosophical exhibition at Yangon University. David Tanner has the story on sexual harassment, exploitation and abuse prevention policy that was launched. Last but not least, Williamson has a report on parenting and child's moral development. Before we get to the reports, let's take a look at the local news. National Renewable Energy Committee held the second coordination meeting in the year of 2019 on Monday. Chairman of the committee, Union Minister Wu Wing-Kai, stressed the efforts for electricity supply to cover 50% of all households in the country, projects to supply electricity to areas outside the national power grid, and also solar power projects for Manao Island and Coco Islands. The meeting focused on implementation of renewable energy projects in the regions and states, proposals, laws and future works. It also discussed the formation of working committees to assist the National Renewable Energy Committee. A group of volunteers and officials from Yangon City Development Committee have been working together on an awareness-raising project to help students widen their knowledge on garbage, plastic and waste management. Officials said the project began in September last year and now it's reached over 40 basic education schools in townships of Yangon East District. At the Basic Education High School No. 1 in Thinganjon Township, volunteers also highlighted that traffic, garbage and drainage issues are the top concerns in Yangon. The project is expected to cover over 200,000 students for garbage, plastic and systematic waste management knowledge within this year. That's all with the local news. And here's our first report. Myanmar Today on Tuesday discussed infrastructure projects implementation as financial year changed. Ministry of Construction advised the concerned departments to prepare the necessary plans, ensure the infrastructure projects are implemented in proper timeline to meet the main rationale behind the financial year change. It was said in response to the query raised by the Luto representative on the 14th day of the second Myanmar Luto 13th regular session. Arkajo has the details.
Deputy Minister for Construction, Wu Jiolin, advised to the concerned departments to prepare the necessary plans for the infrastructure projects in advance 1 year ahead. He said it in response to the query raised by a Luto representative on the 14th day of the second Luto 13th regular session. Wu Aungmyolet, Luto representative of Mandalay Region Constituency 5, asked if the ministry has any plan to implement infrastructure projects by December or January of the 2019 and 2020 financial year.
I
would like to raise query to the concerned ministry. The main rationale behind change of financial year is to prevent budget waste and for the infrastructure projects to be complete in time and in a good quality. So in line with these, I would like to ask, is there a plan to implement the construction projects by December or January of the 2019 to 2020 financial year? So upon the change in 2018-2019 financial year, the infrastructure projects such as educational and health infrastructure projects have not even started yet until May. The projects have not started from the budget years beginning till the end of opening season. That was about 8 months of time, and the projects were not even started in open season. So when it came time to start project implementation, the rainy season kicks in. If the construction projects are implemented properly in timely fashion, the infrastructure projects will be completed in 8 months' time. So I would like to ask, is there a plan to implement the construction projects by December or January of the 2019-2020 financial year?
Changes were made to financial year, which used to run from 1st April to 31st March. The new financial year commences on the 1st October and ends on 30th September. The financial year change to October-September timeline is expected to carry out more effectively the performances of the government, which will support the socio-economic development of the people and for the effective implementation of useful budget earning and appropriation. The change is intended primarily to allow for several consistent months of business operations at the start of the financial year. In response to the query, Deputy Minister for Construction Woo Jaw-lin advised to the concerned departments to prepare the necessary plans for the infrastructure projects 1 year in advance.
The Savilungamia County Poya, season Taji Jane, she meshi Tishilu Selena Megua. Nebiro Council, 90 Pine, Sua Puemiama, people Lado, Chelamiani, Pausa, Pijato, Mapipare. Isa Bado, Ograikmia.
As we can start tender calling process only after the fund is approved. The approval to the fund and the necessary procedures need to be given before the financial year. Then the departments will be able to transfer the fund to necessary departments to start implementing. So, only if the infrastructure projects need to be qualified in necessary data and the criteria, the tender process will be able to start in time. Only then, we will be able to reduce the budget width, control the project quality and finish them on time. The necessary steps such as scrutinizing the proposed infrastructure projects, estimated list as well as land readiness for the construction need to be done 1 year in advance. And we have disseminated the information to the respective departments.
This is Agajo reporting for Myanmar International Radio.
That's a report on Ministry's advice for construction projects. Stay with us. Thought Us Within brings us the second report, and then we'll take a look at the stocks and currency exchange rates right after that. The Department of Philosophy of Yangon University held the Philosophical Exhibition of Literature and Art on Monday and Tuesday at the Recreation Center. The event includes an exhibition and panel discussions. This is aimed to show the concept of application of philosophy in real life. Thought Us Within has the story.
The Department of Philosophy of Yangon University holds the two-day exhibition of Philosophy through Art and Literature from 26 to 27 August at Recreation Center. The exhibition is led by students from Batch 1 of Postgraduate Diploma in Applied Philosophy, and the teachers and other students participated together. The exhibition is aimed to be the concept of how to apply philosophy in daily life, society, and even in national issues. Dr. Lelewin, professor and head of Department of Philosophy of Yangon University, said,
Apply to load the kama, Samara, the value judgment,
When you apply philosophy in life, value judgment is the most concerned matter. Therefore, most of the displays are artworks, literature, and installation arts. Moreover, to connect philosophy with life, we are to conduct two panel discussions.
On the first day, the panel discussion with the title Beautiful Nation was conducted by the panelists Professor Dr. Santo, author Chi Unyo, Uma Mauseya, Umin Gonai, and Ujo Minsui. The discussion on 27th was about finding the new youth with the panelists U M Mao, Professor Dr. Mangsa, author Sansan Nwetayawadi, singer Hantulwe, and Dorida Naji. The moderator of first discussion, Dr. Santo, professor and head retired of the Department of Philosophy, Yangon University, who is currently serving as part-time professor in the Department of Philosophy of Yangon University, said that.
Our discussion is made Beautiful Nation with the purpose of giving awareness of using philosophical perspectives in building the developed country. Philosophy has three concepts: love, wisdom, and truth, which are important for the development of a nation.
Interest in philosophy is increasing among the students. In addition, those who are already in other career fields are also interested to learn philosophy.
Philosophy
is a foundation of thinking, which is the value of people. You have to base on thinking to make yourself, your community, or country improve. Therefore, starting from the basic education, the philosophical, critical, and logical thinking are necessary to be part of the curriculum.
Yangon တက္ကသိုလ်ကြီးကိုစဖွင့်တဲ့အခါမှာအခြေခံဌာနတွေပေါ့ဒီ၅ခုထဲမှာဆရာမတို့ကတစ်ခုပါဝင်ပေါ့နော်
When Yangon University was established, the Department of Philosophy was one of the 5 major departments. Starting from 2013, undergraduate classes were open again in Yangon University. We studied the international curriculum of philosophy and adopted new curriculum to be GCEA level. We applied the student-centered approach in teaching and learning.
For the coming centenary celebration of Yangon University, the Department of Philosophy is to hold the bigger exhibition along with seminar or conference with more diverse items. This is Dora Susan from MI Radio.
That's a report on philosophical exhibition at the Yangon University. Well, let's take a look at the currency rates from Myanmar Central Bank. $1 is at 1,518 kyats. 1 Chinese renminbi is at 211 kyats. 1 euro is at 1,687 kyats. 1 pound sterling is at 1,860 kyats. 1 Singapore dollar is at 1,093 kyats. 1 Malaysian ringgit is at 360 kyats. 1 Thai baht is at 49 kyats, and the Indian rupee is at 21 kyats. Gold is trading at $1,536. Silver is at $18. And Brent crude oil is at $55. On the Yangon Stock Exchange, FMI remains at 12,000. MTSH remains at 4,100. MCB remains at 8,300. FPB remains at 25,000. TMH dropped 50 and it's at 3,050. You're watching MI Radio's Myanmar Today. You can go to our website at miradio.com.mm and listen to our radio programs live on the website. If you're on FM, catch us on 96.1 FM in Yangon, 96.5 in Mandalay, and 96.7 in Naypyidaw. Or you can simply download MI Radio app on both iOS and Android devices so you can listen to our radio programs on the go very conveniently. Alright, let's move on to the next report. With a mindset to have a concrete policy, legislation, and defensive factor for different forms of sexual harassment, exploitation, and abuse, Sexual Harassment, Exploitation, and Abuse Prevention Policy was launched last week at the Melia Hotel. The event was organized by Gender Equality Network. David Henna tells us more.
What is sexual harassment? It is an unwelcome sexual advance, request for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical contact. Sexual harassment at workplace can bring about many consequences. Suppose, if the boss tries to harass the employee, he or she may be embarrassed with the situation, suffer serious emotional and physical contacts, and embarrassed with the situation, and in the worst case scenario, is leaving the job. With that being said, I've interviewed Dorpan Situnte, the National Advisor for Gender Equality Network, GEN.
Today we are holding the launching event to launch our new policy, which is prevention of sexual harassment, exploitation, and abuse policy, which is the policy developed by Gender Equality Network with participation of its members, over 150 members. So today we are very proud to launch this event at this public event.
How and where is this policy targeted to, and why is it so important at the present circumstances will also be answered as well.
As you all know, we have a lot of cases regarding the abuse, sexual harassment and sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, as well as abuse of power, and especially in workplaces. So this policy is actually targeted to workplace. And therefore, what we aim to achieve from this policy launch is that more people become aware that there is such a policy, that there is a need for such a policy to prevent sexual harassment at the workplaces, and therefore we believe that by having a safe workplace and having a mechanism where the affected persons or staff members can report and take appropriate action, it can create a better work environment and a safe environment for the workers.
How can we differentiate between a normal innocent action and a sexual harassment? Let's find out.
It comes in many forms, and a lot of times we know that in many organizations, many offices, such actions and such harassment take place, but a lot of times staff members, affected staff members, are not willing to report. It's because they are either very ashamed or they are afraid of losing their jobs. Therefore, even though they are being harassed sometimes once, sometimes more than once, they keep quiet. So in order to prevent such a behavior, by having a policy at workplace to prevent sexual harassment as well as all forms of exploitation and abuse of power, I think this kind of policy can help to increase awareness that such actions should be reported and appropriate actions should be taken according to the policy of the organization.
Let's also hear about the Gender Equality Network, GEN, and its current movement from Dom Mezabepu, Director for Gender Equality Network.
Gender Equality Network is an active interagency network comprised of more than 100 organizations and individuals who are working for promoting women's rights and gender equality in Myanmar. So our focus areas are promoting women's participation in decision-making and leadership, elimination of violence against women, and changing social practices and cultural norms that discriminate women and men wider in the society.
How can this policy be a game changer for protecting people from sexual harassment and even quickly take action if it's a sexual harassment? Let's hear it out.
Well, these days, several forms of violence against women occur in workplace as well as within the family and in the public places. But there is no concrete legislations and policies that could prevent and protect from different forms of sexual harassment, exploitation, and abuse, especially in the workplace. So we hope that our policy will open the eyes of both employees and employers, the importance of our policies that would produce productive workplace that will benefit for everyone.
Reporter David Tana reporting from Myanmar International Radio. Signing out for now.
That's a report on sexual harassment, exploitation and abuse prevention policy that was launched. Well, finally, we got our last report on parenting and child's moral development. Since children are the future leaders, and it is very important to know how children are raised and brought up, which also determines whether we'll have good leaders in the future or not. Parenting plays the most important part in raising children. Not just the parents, everyone who mingles with children are involved in parenting. With the aim to spread the awareness and impart knowledge to the parents, parenting styles and child's moral development was conducted on Monday at the Summit Parkview Hotel in Yangon. Williamson has the story. Take it away.
As children are the future leaders, to have good leaders in the future, today's children need to be taught and instructed good morality. Therefore, to train the children parents are the most important teachers for their children. Today, with the influence of social media and other factors, the parents find hard to teach their children effectively. However, there are also parents who are not aware of today's situation of the youngsters, but still use the traditional ways of parenting style to their children. Therefore, in order to do a proper parenting, the parents also need to be well equipped with all the parenting skills for today's kids. With the aim to impart the skills and knowledge to the parents, the Parenting Styles and Child's Moral Development Workshop was held on 24th of August 2019 at Summit Parkview Hotel in Yangon. Speaking to MI Radio, Dr. Kim Yin, a professional psychologist, said,
Moral development is one of the most important issues for the youth in Myanmar. There has been significant increase in number of the youth with spoiled character, and then it's transformed into antisocial behavior, which in the end results as crimes. Therefore, in order to prevent the youth from this problem, several therapeutic steps have to be done. One of the most important steps is the parenting style of the parents to their children, which is also known as family-focused intervention. This method is a successful method in other countries for parenting, and we want to introduce it to the parents here in our country.
Speaking on how parenting style had changed since the last 50 years, Dr. Kim Yin also said,
It
is not a small difference, but there has been a big difference in parenting from our childhood days and today's parenting style. There are areas where today's parenting styles offer better ways, but in my opinion, it is more of weaknesses with today's parenting style because both the parents and children don't have time to be together, and the relation is getting weaker and weaker. The parents have weakness of giving their time and focusing on their children, which gradually changes the relation in the family, and with that change, the children face several issues in their lives. As parenting is very essential for the children, for both present time and the future, I urge all the parents to be very careful in parenting their children with great caution.
Today's kids will become the leaders in the future. As the future leaders, today the kids must have the right thinking, right mindset, and right behavior. It is important that the kids have these qualities from childhood instead of trying to teach these qualities when they have become adults. To grow morally, parenting plays an essential role. When it is said parenting, it is not just about parents. It includes everyone who mingles with the children. The morality of a child depends on his mentor. It is all in the hands of his mentor whether a child's future is bright or not. Speaking on what could be the suitable parenting styles for today's kids, Dr. So Shui, a professional psychologist, also said,
For today's kids, the suitable parenting style is now is not the dark time like older days. This is the era of light. The kids learn things so quick, but in older days, whatever the parent instructed, the children had to obey. But now the children don't do that. The children have ability to think if their parents might be wrong or right. Therefore, the suitable parenting style for today's children is consulted parenting style, which is the most suitable parenting style, where both the children and the parents will have dialogue for any decision.
This is Williamson reporting for MI Radio.
That's all the reports we have for today. Now let's look around on the international landscape. Last month, Nashville Instagrammer Tiffany Mitchell posted photographs of herself lying by the side of the road. She wrote that they were taken following a motorbike accident. But after an initial wave of sympathy from her then 211,000 followers, the doubtful comments began to trickle in. And then the floodgates truly opened when BuzzFeed ran a story about it. Given the traumatic nature of a road accident, the photographs were just so beautiful, but there also appeared to be discrepancies. She appeared to have more than one helmet. Where was the blood? Why did she name-check her tattoo artist in her post? She said her flowers may need a touch-up. And even more crucially, why was there a prominently branded bottle of water in the forefront of one of the shots? Tiffany Mitchell has now been accused of making the whole thing up as a publicity stunt. She claims to be receiving death threats as the backlash intensifies. Influencers are constantly working Instagram's algorithms in order to boost their followers and make them more marketable, and that means it's a popularity game. Starting from June, Hong Kong's opposition and some radical forces have used the pretext of peaceful demonstration to engage in violent protests. Here's how these violent activities have disrupted the city.
The radical protesters have become better equipped, coordinated, and planned, and they have continued to push the level of violence to new heights. Alarmingly, many weapon depots containing explosives, firebombs, and knives, suspected to be owned by radical protesters, have been uncovered in police operations. From June the 9th to August the 15th, the Hong Kong police arrested 748 people suspected of illegal assembly, rioting, and assaulting the police. 177 police officers suffered injuries on duty. During the recent riots, the Hong Kong police force has honored their duties and enforced the law with professionalism and great restraint. It has maintained its reputation as one of the world's most outstanding police forces. What is more alarming is that anti-China forces in the West have colluded with local anti-China forces who intend to mess with Hong Kong. On multiple occasions, foreign nationals were seen meeting and talking with radical protesters. Recently, leaders of Hong Kong independence groups secretly met with officials of the U.S. Consulate General in Hong Kong. The day after their meeting, the group said on social media that they plan to boycott classes in September. Certain forces in the US and Britain have deliberately ignored extreme violence and illegal protests and attempted to beautify mobsters as campaigners of freedom, democracy, and human rights.
點解頭先會攞英國國旗、你個國旗出嚟嘅？你唔攞法國，唔攞印度，唔攞新加坡 ？What a shame! What a shame to Hong Kong!
Looking back at what happened during the past 2 months, the Ordinance Amendment issues have changed in their essence and now bear the features of a color revolution. Should violence and chaos be allowed to continue, the safety of Hong Kong citizens' lives and property will be endangered, and the governance authority of the SAR government, the cornerstone of the rule of law in Hong Kong, its prosperity and stability, and the one country, two systems will be destroyed. Citizens of Hong Kong will not allow this to happen. The people of China will not allow this to happen. On August the 7th, the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office of the State Council and the Liaison Office of the Central People's Government in Hong Kong jointly held a symposium in Shenzhen, South China's Guangdong province, briefing the attendees on the central authorities' policies on stabilizing Hong Kong's situation. It stressed that the most pressing and overriding task in Hong Kong is to stop violence, end the chaos, and restore order.
我也要在这里呼吁，香港已经走到了一个重要关头，所有关心香港前途的人 都应该坚定地站出来，向一切犯罪行为说不，向一切暴力分子说不，止暴制乱，恢复秩序，这是香港当前压倒一切的最重要、最紧迫的任务。
And that's a wrap on Myanmar Today. Catch the show on MITV every evening, Monday to Friday at 8:30. You can also join me on MI Radio from 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m., 1 to 1:30 p.m. and from 7:30 to 8 in the evening. Don't forget to drop your comments and messages on our Facebook post. We'll be back with more news and reports. Thank you for joining us. I am Henry Zin. Have a great day, everyone.